All right, everybody's ready? I know that clock's a little slow. By my clock, it's 7 o'clock. I'm going to ask you please stand for the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, welcome everyone this evening to the regular town board meeting. The first item we have on the agenda is a public hearing for the fiscal year 2022 Orange County Community Development Block Grant. I'll read the notice of hearing. Please take notice the Town Board of the Town of Cornwall does hereby set a public hearing on the 14th day of June 2021 at 7 o'clock p.m. Town Hall, 183 Main Street, Cornwall, New York, on proposed application for fiscal year 2022 Orange County Community Development Block Grant Program. The town invites public comments and suggestions regarding projects to be considered for funding under the Orange County Community Development Program. Under this program, a variety of physical improvements as listed below are eligible for funding: acquisition and disposition of real estate, public works, public facilities, or site improvements, code enforcement, housing and health codes, clearance, demolition, and rehabilitation for public use, economic development, housing rehabilitation loan and grants, special projects for elderly and handicapped, provision of public services, shelters, clinics, senior nutrition, payment of non-federal shares of other grant programs, relocation payments and assistance. The town will be considering projects to be submitted to the Orange County Community Development Program. Deadline for submittal is June 25th, 2021. The town board will, at the above date, time, and place, hear all persons interested in the subject matter hereof. Person may appear in person or by agent. All written communication addressed to the board must be received by the board at or prior to the public hearing. By order of the town board, Town of Cornwall, Renata McGee, town clerk. This is the public hearing for the next year's program. Unfortunately for Cornwall, a lot of it's based on low income areas, which were extremely limited. And but this is an opportunity for the public to comment on any projects that they would believe would be feasible. And then the board will have to move on this tonight. It's on the agenda to move ahead. So I'll declare the public hearing open. Anyone wishing to speak at this public hearing? Okay, hearing no one, I'll ask again, anyone wishing to speak at this public hearing at 2022 Community Development Block Grant Program? Hearing no one, there's a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Move, second, discussion, roll call.
Ms. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt? Yes. Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Mr. Wojciechowski?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. Approval of minutes, May 10th, 2021 regular meeting, May 25th special meeting. Is there a motion on the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Move, second, discussion, roll call.
Ms. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt?
Yes.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Mr. Wojciechowski?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. Public comment, agenda items. Anyone wish to speak on any agenda item?
Yes.
Carla? Oh, go ahead, Carla.
Okay. Thank you very much, Supervisor Randazzo. I would like to again thank the board, supervisor, Counselor Steve Gaba for all the amazing and fantastic work on the resolution introducing the NRI and SRI and the resolution regarding the Natural Heritage Project. There is a tremendous amount of excitement about both or all three documents being adopted, and really appreciate all of the support from the board and you, Supervisor Randazzo, throughout these years in our developing it. And again, I want to extend the offer to do a training of sorts or a walkthrough of all of those documents to the planning board, to the zoning board. Councilwoman Scott at our CAC meeting earlier this week mentioned the building inspector as well. It might be helpful to the building inspector, so I thank you for that idea. And then also offering to put together or at least compile checklists that would make the review process easier for the planning board, the inspector, that are typical of, that go along with NRIs and NHPs. So we'll put that together and you can do with it what you'd like. Hopefully you'll find it useful.
Thank you, Carla.
Thank you so much.
And again, on behalf of the board and the community, I want to thank you and the Conservation Advisory Council for all the work you did on the project. Like I've said many times, it's a professional document that is going to be useful to the town. And I think that's why, at your suggestion and urging, but the town board felt that we wanted to really write it into the books so that it would definitely be looked at, not just collect dust on a shelf. So it has real meaning for the community going forward. So I thank you for that. Anyone else? Public comment? Yes.
Yes, I would like to know why the cricket topics is not in today for the voting.
Yeah, it actually was on by mistake because we were going to take it up at our work session next month.
Next month.
Yep.
Okay.
First Monday. Well, actually, I think it'll be a Tuesday.
Oh.
With the town hall, the town will be closed on Monday, the 5th, because of the 4th of July, the
Okay.
day before. So it'll be the 6th of July.
So may I ask why did I?
Well, I think the board was seeking information. I think Councilwoman Scott
Yeah.
may have met with you, was going to meet with you and gathered information and all, and that's really,
She met with me last week, and so we were waiting for it. Like what is the decisions on this?
I would think that if I could say.
Sure, absolutely.
You know, you did provide me with, that image. I also give me an opportunity to actually go to see the cricket ball actually being played. I remember we just went and we looked at, the field and we talked about
That's correct.
some things. And again, I have to bring that forward to the board during the work session, just looking at what you're proposing. And again, hopefully give some feedback of what I see in terms of the cricket ball and how it actually works.
Oh, okay. I thought I explained to you how's the cricket.
No, I understand how it
being
works.
played.
I understand how it works, but again, I know it's part of the process. We have to then look at what you're proposing, because you're showing me what you're proposing, and now we have to, as a board, talk about what you're proposing in terms of what kind of path you want to be cut.
Okay. It just, okay. Well, it's just getting delayed, and we will be end of seasons after that. But yes, I'm hoping in the next sessions, we're expecting something if you guys work out something for us.
you're still playing.
Yes, we're playing.
So it's not keeping you from playing the sport.
Yep, but
Okay.
it's still problematic.
Well,
So-
you've been doing it for several years now, so it can't be any more problematic now than it was in the
Several
past.
years.
So the board is going to discuss it.
Right, and as I explained to
Councilwoman will
you,
give
that
a
it
report.
is a process with our buildings and grounds and the other projects that we have going, and we did discuss that.
Okay.
All right.
So I'm hoping next session we'll have something better. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, first item on the agenda is a resolution regarding the Orange County Community Development Block Grant, fiscal year 2022. I want to mention that obviously we held a public hearing to see if there was any input, but what we're going to propose with the resolution is we've had 2 years in a row, we've been successful in sidewalk replacement projects in the area of Broadway and Bridge, Chestnut, and Grand. And I think, I'll read the resolution, but we're going to propose to put in a third-year request. We actually initially put in a 3-year request for all the sidewalk work, but we received 1 year, $125,000, and then we resubmitted the second year, and we got another $125,000. So our goal now is if we are successful this third year, we'll actually wind up having a 3-year project, but having applied each year for it and all. But it will really extend the sidewalks, and we're always in hopes of trying to keep running out from Main Street to improve the sidewalks on the side streets so that there's a good, safe circulation of sidewalks for the public to use in the area. So the resolution is, whereas the town of Cornwall is hereby submitting its application for consideration under the fiscal year 2022 Orange Urban County Consortium Community Development Program, and whereas following due notice, the town board held a public hearing on the proposed application on June 14, 2021. Input from citizen groups has been received and considered, and an application has been prepared which addresses their community concerns. Whereas it's necessary for the town board to adopt a resolution formally authorizing retaining the town's consulting engineers to prepare and file the application. Now therefore be resolved as follows. 1, the town board of the town of Cornwall hereby approves submitting its application for the town of Cornwall Community Development Block Grant fiscal year 2022 application for Elm Street ADA sidewalk replacement project for consideration under the fiscal year 2022 Orange County Consortium Community Development Program. Town board further certifies that as read and understood, the Orange Urban County Consortium Community Development Guidelines for fiscal year 2022 program year has met all the applicable requirements, and that the information contained in this application is accurate and true to the best of the board's knowledge. If awarded CDBG funds, the town of Cornwall shall implement the activities in a manner to ensure compliance with all applicable federal, state, and local laws and regulations. 2, the town's consulting engineers are hereby authorized to prepare and submit the application. 3, the supervisor is hereby authorized to execute the application. Is there a motion on the resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Ms. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt?
Yes.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Mr. Wojciechowski?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. Second item is a resolution on fair housing. This is a requirement for the submission of the application with the Community Development Program, Steve?
That's right. The state puts out a set of instructions for submitting applications for community development block grants. A number of attachments are required. One of the attachments is the resolution of the municipality saying it supports the federal fair housing law. The town adopts this pretty much every year, but the state wants you to adopt a new one every year to submit with the community development block grant. So adopted one last year, we're going to adopt one again. York going to adopt one again this year in order to submit the community development block grant application.
Standard. Should we waive the reading of the?
I'd recommend it, but
Is there a motion to waive the reading of the entire resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Second discussion, roll call?
Ms. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt?
Yes.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Mr. Wojciechowski?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, the motion is carried. So I'll just give the first sentence and the last result. Okay, whereas the town of Cornwall supports Title 8 of the Civil Rights Act of 1968 Federal Fair Housing Law, New York State Human Rights Law. It's a policy of the town of Cornwall to implement programs to ensure equal opportunity in housing for all persons regardless of race, color, religion, ancestry, sex, including pregnancy, national origin, national familial status, marital or domestic partnership status, and et cetera. I'll get to the end. It's be it further resolved, the town of Cornwall will at a minimum include but not be limited to 1, the printing and publicizing of this resolution, fair housing public notice, and other applicable fair housing information through local media, community contacts, and placement of the town of Cornwall website and in other social media. 2, distribution of posters, flyers, and other means which will bring to the attention of those affected the knowledge of the respective responsibilities and rights concerning equal opportunity in housing. Is there a motion on the resolution? Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Ms. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt? Yes. Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Mr. Wojciechowski?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. Next is the acceptance of secret negative declaration for the I&I project for the sewer. Steve, you want to just touch on that?
sure, the I&I project was begun a couple years ago as far as that goes, and the town, because they didn't believe that they would be making any significant improvements, I mean, maybe slip line or something like that, patching cracked pipes, replacements in kind, to the pipes and the infrastructure, called it a Type 2 action. Type 2 means it's exempt from SECRA. But it turns out that we will be replacing, the town will be replacing some pipes with bigger pipes, and because we're receiving grant money on this, you want to dot all the i's and cross all the t's. So the town board has gone back and declared it to be an unlisted action. The town board, as you may remember from last month's meeting, circulated for the agency, and now it's time to adopt the negative declaration to complete the CEQA process on the I&I project. So if the board will have a voice vote adopting the negative declaration that's been prepared by your engineers, you can complete the CEQA process.
Okay, so motion to accept the secret negative declaration for the I&I project.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Ms. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt? Yes. Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Mr. Wojciechowski?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. Next is from McGoey Hauser Netzley Engineers, task order number 21-04, Hasbrook Area Drainage Study, engineering report. We have a proposal from the engineer. Specific project, the town has had significant drainage problems in the vicinity of Hasbrook Avenue, Sheldon Drive, and Clinton Street, including flooding of existing homes. Town's looking to mitigate. So the engineering proposal is a lump sum fee of $7,700. Is there a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Ms. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt? Yes. Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Mr. Wojciechowski?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. Next is an MHE task order for the, submitting the Community Development Block Grant for fiscal year 2022, the grant application for the replacement of Elm Street sidewalks, hourly not to exceed the amount of $2,000. Is there a motion on the resolution? On the
So moved.
motion?
Second.
Move second, discussion. Roll call.
Ms. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt? Yes. Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Mr. Wojciechowski?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. The third is another McGoley Housing Etzel Task Order number 21-07, grant application for I&I studies for Beaver Dam Lake and Frederick sewer districts. We intend to apply for a grant for both the districts to conduct I&I studies. The engineer's estimate fee is $2,500. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Ms. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt? Yes. Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Mr. Wojciechowski?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. Next item is engineering services with McGoley Hazard Etzel. It's for the Chestnut Grand Bridge Street sidewalk replacements that we're moving ahead with. And the engineering costs, lump sum, is $13,700. And then they estimate hourly rates for the project of $6,800 and $4,200 based on hourly rates. Is there a motion to approve the agreement with McGoley Hazard Etzel for the project?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Ms. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt? Yes. Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Mr. Wojciechowski?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. Next is a proposal, engineering services, well, actually, for Cornwall Sewer Plant Phase 2, which is a multi-million project that we're hoping to get engineered and out to bid next year. But as we're moving ahead with the engineering process, we found some issues with the roof on one of the buildings at the sewer plant. And in order to move ahead, we have to do asbestos testing of the material there. And I have three proposals that were submitted to the engineers. One is from Adelaide for $4,150. Another one from Quest. They had two, $29,999 or $37,999. And the third is from Air Environmental Consulting at $1,818. So we have to do the testing in order to complete the engineering for it and to include the roof in the project. Is there a motion to accept the proposal from Air Environmental Consulting?
So moved.
Second.
Move second. Got a second? Roll call?
Ms. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt? Yes. Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Mr. Wojciechowski?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. Next, I have a resolution regarding the Storm King Golf Course Performance Security. Whereas the Town of Cornwall Planning Board conditionally approved the clearing and grading permit for the Storm King Golf Club project. Whereas the town's consulting engineers have reviewed the applicant's cost estimate, recommends the town board approve the performance security in the amount of $958,978.40 for the Phase 1 disturbance activities. Now therefore be it resolved as follows. The town board agrees to accept the performance security set in the amount of $958,978.40 in the form of a letter of credit or cash deposit following review and approval by the town attorney. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Been moved, is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Ms. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt? Yes. Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Mr. Wojciechowski?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, the motion is carried. Next item is introducing the local law and setting a public hearing on a cannabis opt-out program under the guidelines of the state. The board has discussed this over the past couple of months with our attorney. And I think we just do the resolution, read the resolution, set the public hearing.
And then cancel referrals and everything.
Okay, I'll read the resolution. Whereas the town board of the town of Cornwall has a local law before it entitled the local law to opt out of the New York State Cannabis Law, Chapter 7A of the Consolidated Laws of the State of New York, in regard to retail sales and in regard to establishments for on-site consumption. Whereas in order to take action on said local law, it is necessary to schedule a public hearing and to make specific referrals. Now therefore be resolved as follows. 1, that the movement of this resolution is hereby introduce the above proposed local law. 2, that the proposed local law be forwarded to the planning board of the town of Cornwall for review and report. 3, proposed local law be forwarded to the Orange County Department of Planning for review and report. 4, that a public hearing on the proposed local law is set for July. Steve, if we do it at our regular meeting, which would be the 12th, is that good, or you want to do it, you think we should do it on the 5th?
No, I would do it on the 12th.
12th, okay. July 12th, then at 7 o'clock PM. And that notice the same is directed to be given by publication and posting. Is there a motion on the resolution? Move, you second it?
Yes.
Move second, discussion. I do want to mention that provision of law is the municipalities can opt out if we do it by December 31st, 2021. But if we do opt out, we can then, anytime in the future, can go back and change the provision to make it so that the, I guess, the retail sale and
Yeah, and it's subject to permissive referendum, so in the event that a petition is filed to have a referendum on the local law, by enacting it now, the town board will have it in place
Adequate.
so that it can be voted on in the upcoming general election.
if we get it. And you know, on the other hand, you know, by doing this, we really reserve our right to come back and revisit it. If we don't, we won't have that option. And I think the board's determined that it's probably wise for the community at this point in time to opt out so that we have more time to see how this whole thing evolves going forward. So I'll ask for a roll call vote.
Ms. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt? Yes. Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Mr. Wojciechowski?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. Okay, next is a resolution regarding setting a public hearing, introducing the law, setting a public hearing on the NRI and SRI, which we've talked about, which Carla was referring to as one of the documents. I'm going to read the resolution. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Cornwall has before it a proposed local law entitled, "A Local Law to Adopt and Implement the Town of Cornwall Natural Resources Inventory and Scenic Resources Inventory." Whereas in order for the Town Board to consider and act the proposed local law, it is necessary for the Town Board to first introduce the local law and hold a public hearing upon it. Now therefore be resolved as follows. 1, that the movement of this resolution does hereby introduce a proposed local law. And 2, that a public hearing on the proposed local law be set for July, would be the same on the 12th, and we'll set it at 7:10. In case we will have to take time to go through the first local law. 7:10 p.m. And that due notice of the same is directed to be given by publication and posting.
Dick, I
ahead.
apologize. There should have been a provision in here also calling for referral to the planning board, because it amends the zoning code as well as you know, the subdivision regs, and referral to county
County?
planning as well. So if you could just incorporate that into the resolution, it should have been in there, I'm sorry.
Okay, that's right. So we will incorporate those 2 items into it, which is pretty standard.
Yeah,
for it.
but still you'd like to have it.
Did we get a motion?
Yes, we ready.
Okay, roll call.
Did we have,
Oh,
Need a second? Okay,
Yes.
Okay, discussion. Steve gave us some discussion then.
oh, call again, Helen in Virginia.
oh, Helen first, or no, I
Okay,
second.
you second.
I didn't hear you.
Roll call?
Roll call.
Ms. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt? Yes. Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Mr. Wojciechowski?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. Next is a resolution regarding the National Heritage Project. Whereas the Town of Cornwall Conservation Advisory Committee has prepared a study and report called the Natural Heritage Project, AKA the Open Space Inventory. Whereas the Natural Heritage Project, AKA Open Space Inventory, provides an important tool and resource for assisting in making land use decisions within the Town of Cornwall. And whereas the Town Board wishes to recognize and adopt the Natural Heritage Project, AKA the Open Space Inventory, as an official document of the town. And therefore be resolved as follows, that the Town Board hereby recognizes and adopts the Natural Heritage Project, AKA the Open Space Inventory, as an official document of the town. The motion on the resolution?
So moved.
A second. Discussion, we're hearing the applause. Roll call.
Ms. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt? Yes. Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Mr. Wojciechowski?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. And again, I want to thank all of you and Conservation Advisory. It's a great job. Next is a resolution regarding outside user agreement for Beaver Dam Lake Sewer. This pertains to a project at the Penning's Garden Center. So I'll read it. Whereas the owners of the former Penning's Garden Center property located off of Route 94 and Shore Drive in the town of Cornwall propose to develop said property as a commercial mixed-use recreation facility. And whereas the development of the project requires a public sewer connection for approximately 8,500 gallons per day, and whereas the property owners have requested the town approve an outside user agreement for them to receive water capacity from the Beaver Dam Lake Sewer District, and whereas since the Beaver Dam Lake Sewer District receives all of its sewer capacity from the town of New Windsor, it be necessary to secure approval from New Windsor before approving the outside user agreement requested by the property owners. Whereas there is sufficient sewer capacity available in the town's existing sewer agreement with New Windsor to accommodate the property owner's request for an outside user agreement of 8,500 gallons per day. Now therefore be resolved as follows. 1, town board hereby authorizes and approves the preparation and execution by the town supervisor an intermunicipal agreement with the town of New Windsor to secure New Windsor's approval for outside user agreement requested by the property owners. 2, town board hereby authorizes and approves preparation and execution by the town supervisor of an outside user agreement with the property owners limited to no more than 8,500 gallons per day. The sewer capacity is subject to the town's standard terms and fees for outside user agreements. Is there a motion on the resolution?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Discussion?
Is
Helen?
this what they wanted? Is this what the big holdup was?
Well, there's a lot of things. I mean,
Yeah, this is one of the,
they have to extend the pipe and, you know.
yeah,
Do they pay for that?
Oh, yes.
yeah.
Oh, yes.
Roll call?
Ms. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt? Yes. Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Mr. Wojciechowski?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. Next is a memo from Chief Hazard Vehicle Purchase. Respectfully request the town board consider purchasing a 2021 Ford F-150 police responder, a state contract price of $35,208 from Van Bortle Ford. We budgeted funds to replace one vehicle this year. Typical turnaround time is 16 to 20 weeks. The chief indicated, this is the first pickup truck that we would have in the police department, but it'll be fully equipped for patrol, but will also be a multi-purpose vehicle for use at the range and hauling barricades and cones and so forth. So it would be a good addition to the fleet. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Ms. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt? Yes. Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Mr. Wojciechowski?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. All right, next, lifeguards and counselors approval. The Recreation Department has given us the list of the lifeguards for the summer and also the camp counselors along with the subs. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second? Discussion, roll call?
Ms. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt? Yes. Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Mr. Wojciechowski?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. We do have, and unfortunately, the highway super was out for a few days, but we do have 2 seasonal employee positions for the highway department. We have 1 full-time employee who's on military leave for a year, and we just have a lot of work this summer, so it would be just seasonal for the summer. The 2 employees, the one, I have the name, is it Ryan?
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Hines, and the second, I've interviewed him, and Tommy's interviewed him, but we'll have to insert the name, I just don't recall the name. But he worked for the town 2 years ago as a seasonal employee. Yeah, same type of work. So a motion to approve,
So moved.
for a second?
Second.
Discussion, roll call?
Ms. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt? Yes. Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Mr. Wojciechowski?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. Committee reports, Councilwoman Bunt?
So, the sewer, both sewer for Cliff and Cornwall are operating within their permit limits for the month, and they're doing all their maintenance and upkeep. There was talk about the senior committee maybe doing a picnic in September. Did they include you in that?
Yeah, the Legion? The Legion's talking about that, the American Legion Post is
Hector
talking.
came to me and said that
Yeah,
wanted the seniors.
We'll see how we can work. I know the Legion's been talking about trying to do something in the fall for veterans and seniors and all, so maybe we can coordinate something to
Okay,
see if we can do that.
all right. And music in the park is continuing.
And with 4th of July.
And we're gonna have a band for the 4th of July. So the parade is at 1, and then the music in the park will be at 6:30.
So we're hoping to, actually, we probably had 250 people attend last week,
Yes.
and probably 200 last night. So it's really popular and all, and we really felt that, Mark Henderson, who we want to thank for coordinating all the music and all, felt that he could get a band for the 4th of July, just for added activity.
Says it's
So-
a really good band.
Yeah.
They're singing at the
So we're gonna
Cannabis.
look forward to that.
So,
Councilman Wojciechowski?
So the Economic Development Advisory Committee, as you probably saw, we launched the joint marketing program between the Chamber and the Town EDAC Committee, and Oscar from Beaver Studios, he's running that marketing program, so you may have seen some of those advertisements getting pushed out. They get scheduled a couple weeks in advance, and then the EDAC Committee, they take a look at them and they approve the posts, make sure that they're going in the right direction. We're currently up to 1,328 people following the page, and so we're hoping to grow that, into the, tens of thousands would be great. But that'll, probably take a couple of years, but that's our goal, is to really, try to drive some foot traffic and some business to our local restaurants and to our, retail shops, and to just, drive traffic to Main Street is the overall goal. So I think it's, working out so far.
I have a question on
Sure.
that.
Yeah.
I don't think that the membership is just Main Street. So there are members of the chamber that are in Beaver, Windsor, Westgate. So how's that gonna work? If you're trying to pull it to Main Street, that one of those people want to partake in this advertised campaign.
So
You're
the
gonna take
chamber,
those-
yeah, no,
Did you limit the advertising
no,
to
no,
Main
no,
Street?
so it's basically, the EDAC committee came up with a list of 75 or 100 things to do in Cornwall, and the chamber is going to add different things. Our goal is to basically, run through that list, and then the chamber is going to add their membership, to that, and they're involved in the process as well. So it's not just gonna be Main Street that gets advertised,
Okay,
so.
but you said it was to bring the people to Main Street.
Well, yes, so Main Street, but if you look, so there's also, so the Storm King Art Center has been advertised, we're doing hiking trails, we're doing, this is only 2 weeks into it, but yes, so I'm sorry, I didn't mean to just say Main Street, but yes, the goal is overall to bring into Cornwall, so that would include any business in the town, in the village, all the way out to, all the hiking trails, everywhere. So we're, yes, not just limited to Main Street, but yes, it's, when you're doing tourism promotion, the goal is generally to bring people to, to restaurants, to retail, but we're also gonna be advertising all businesses in Cornwall as well.
I know, I understand that,
Yeah.
but my concern is that I know the membership does not
Sure.
it's not just Cornwall. So my thing would be those members that are doing whatever they're doing for the chamber, I'm just wondering how you're doing that balance.
So we have chamber members that are members of the chamber board that are looking at, and they're going to have a say in what is going to be going out. And so that's how, so we're gonna leave it up to the chamber board to make sure that they're getting their members, and, there's a calendar. Look, we're, do you have a suggestion as to how we could,
I don't, I just
Okay.
know that if I'm one
Sure.
of those members that are in New Windsor, Valesgate, Salisbury Mills, wherever, if I'm outside of Cornwall and I'm paying my dues and I'm doing the fundraising with the chamber,
sure.
I'm gonna be like, I want some business driven to me too. That's what my thought was.
No,
If
and
you
that
guys
makes,
took that into consideration.
yeah, and that's why there's a member of the chamber board that's involved in, the chamber liaison to the EDAC committee is making sure that the chamber is represented. And if there's a way for, maybe we add a few other chamber members, to the review process to make sure that that's happening. I'll certainly ask John Alba to have a discussion with Rich about that.
Yeah, you can see I have
Yeah.
a valid point.
Yeah, you do.
I'm a chamber member in Valesgate, And that's the thing, they've always expanded it, they never limited it to Cornwall.
Yeah.
And I just want to add too,
Yeah.
it's, in addition to tourism, it's also letting our community members know
Yes, sorry.
what we have to offer in Cornwall, so that the more we get the community involved, the better it's going to be for business and all. And I think, quite honestly, we're starting to see that on Main Street. You know, we've had, I think, 7 or 8 ribbon cuttings since last August of new businesses that have opened on Main Street in a pandemic. I mean, people are investing in Cornwall, and, you know, while some people want to downplay Main Street and criticize it, we want to build it up. And in speaking to the new entrepreneurs, they're very happy to come to Cornwall and invest their money in our community and all. So I think it's important that the word get out there. And with some of the businesses, we can see the local people who live in Cornwall actually coming to Main Street and supporting the businesses that are there. So that's really what we want to encourage. It's good for business, it's good for the community as a whole. So, you have anything further, Josh?
Yeah, well, so I would add that, you know, that about half of the folks following the page are Cornwall residents, and so I think right now it's a good mix. And so, you know, look, obviously, you know, it's good, you know, the tourists help, but, you know, to survive day to day, you really need to have local support, otherwise you're not gonna be able to make it, you know, and so I can certainly attest to that. So, you know, definitely wanna focus on, you know, locals shopping local.
And there are a lot of new people coming into Cornwall.
Yeah, there are.
Are there any plans to do anything with the 30th anniversary Village Pizzeria? I mean, we have businesses that have been here for a long time, and that's...
So we did a post, I think it was a Friday ago, where we mentioned Pizza Friday and all the local pizza places.
All right.
And so, but that's created content. There's also gonna be just organic content where,
Okay.
you know, people will share stuff to the page.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
Okay,
So-
I understand.
Okay,
yeah, I'm done.
you good? Okay. Councilwoman Scott?
Well, as far as the Cornwall Conservation Advisory Council, I'm very pleased with us adopting the resolution. We have in our hands the tree ordinance, which I know that we're going to be looking at that when we update our zoning again. I have some other good news is with the Moodna Creek watershed, which is municipal council. With the hard work of this committee, the county is finalizing a contract with a consultant to study the erosion on the bank on Mill Street. So I thought that was a good, you know, move. And we know that Mill Street safety is a concern, and the county is invested in seeking a long-term solution to this problem. So I was very pleased to hear that. So that's all I have. Our next meeting is July 9th, and we'll, with that committee, and we'll be getting more information.
Oh, that is good news, Gene. Yeah, I can tell you, I've been in touch with the county for the past few years about it. And they said right from the start that it's a multi-million-dollar project to try to stabilize that erosion that's occurring on the bank there. And quite honestly, it does threaten Mill Street as a road. It's getting closer all the time, so.
We're excited
Hopefully-
for our community.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully they can get the engineering studies done and all, so that they can really start looking for money to address that issue.
It's good news.
Thank you. Councilman McGinnis?
For the month, last month, the building department issued 33 permits, 21 certificates of compliance, 5 COs, 56 on-site inspections were performed, 4 complaints were investigated, 5 fire inspections were performed, 3 signs were removed. They took in $8,152.50 in permit fees, $6,300 in fees for municipal searches, 21 of them. And new planning board projects opened for the month were 2, with 6 altogether year to date. There were no zoning board projects open. The highway department performed mechanical work where needed, assisted sanitation when needed, continued work on the tennis court, hot patch asphalt roads and country where needed. They performed mower work out of town, or town-wide, and they cleaned the town garage and trucks and swept the roads on the county routes. That's all I have.
Okay. Police report for the month, calls for service 664, miles driven 8,498. Total miles for 2021 as of May 31, 37,876. Traffic and appearance tickets 35, parking tickets 10, motor vehicle accidents reported 34, arrests made 5, 911 hang-up, missed dial or open line 5, alarms residential and business 27, ambulance requests 14, animal complaints 11, burglary 0, criminal mischief 4, disabled vehicles 8, domestic incidents 3, parking complaints 6, suspicious vehicle or persons 18, assisted other agencies 15. I just want to touch on a couple of things with regard to projects. Obviously, the tennis courts are coming along great. We're all anxious to get the final work done, but the blacktop was done and it had to sit for a couple of weeks before the company can come in and actually do the top surfacing and lines and so forth. And the fencing company hopefully will be coming in to put the new fence around it. So we're cautiously optimistic that's going to happen in the next few weeks. Basketball courts, we're going to resurface the basketball courts, all 3 courts. The 3rd court will also be, when it's restriped and all, we restriped for pickleball. There's a lot of interest in pickleball in the community. We've had a lot of our seniors and others that have expressed a desire to play. You know, when you're just flipping through the TV, I just happened to come across a pickleball tournament. So it is becoming big. So we're really looking forward to freshening up the courts and getting that done. The last thing I want to mention on projects is Bridge Street bridge repairs. We actually awarded the contract the end of last year, actually probably late summer, but the DEC had certain rules where you couldn't work in the stream during certain months and all. We're beyond that now, but obviously what we've seen even with the tennis courts and so forth, coming out of the pandemic, we're not totally out yet, but at least things are opening up. These contractors are backed up with work. Getting material is difficult, extremely difficult and all. So while we'd like to be moving at a faster pace, everybody is working as hard as we can to get these projects moving along for the community and all. So we're optimistic about that. Probably several weeks ago, we had a Zoom meeting with the county regarding the upgrades on Main Street. This is a town, county, state project. We actually started looking at it with a grant from Senator Skoufis 3 years ago. He put a committee together that we were on. And so we came up with the Main Street project, and like everything else, in order to make it work right, we found out the Central Hudson had a gas lines that had to be installed and laterals. We found out that the Village of Cornwall Hudson had some older water service lines that they wanted to replace. And the county had applied for a pedestrian safety grant, which is going to upgrade our sidewalks or our crosswalks. The town's going to do a couple of them, but this grant is going to be really upgrade the main crosswalks and all. So the timing of it is that hopefully by the end of August, around September 1st, we'll be done with all those improvements. The town will be done with our part of it. Then the county is going to come in and actually grind Main Street from the bridge at the traffic circle all the way down to 218 and resurface it. So that, coupled with the other projects, with the beautification, we're working on the garden clubs, we've done a beautiful job. The traffic circle is really coming along. And with the excitement of Main Street really opening up and the new businesses that are coming in, we really feel that the time is going to come together this fall, that we're really going to see that whole facelift of Main Street, and it's going to be warm and inviting, and with the new business and all, I think it's going to be a win-win for Cornwall and the merchants and all. So we're really looking forward to it. We're staying on top of it, trying to make sure that we track a timeline that's going to see the completion of it this year. So we've got a lot to look forward to with that. So we have warrant number 6. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second? Discussion? Roll call?
Ms. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt?
Yes.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Mr. Wojciechowski?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes. Motion is carried. Public comment on any item or issue? Mr. Jacobowitz?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. My name is Jerry Jacobowitz. I'm an attorney, I'm a town resident. Our law firm represents the owners of the property that is the Majestic Sewer District. I think a little history might be appropriate. Although it's got a long history, I'm going to give you the Cliff Note version. Plans were submitted to the planning board in the early part of the century for a 100,000 square foot new commercial building on Mill Street and 11 single-family homes on the east side of Mill Street, residential backing up to existing residential. It went through all the processes at the planning board, and as part of that, they analyzed what sewer needs would be for that project, and approved by Mark Edsel was 7,600 gallons per day to cover the 11 homes and 100,000 square foot of new commercial, non-nuisance industry building. The planning board, in the course of them doing their job, adopted 2 resolutions. One was a negative declaration under seeker, and the other was a resolution granting preliminary subdivision approval for the project. And in that resolution, they specifically identified that they had carefully considered all of the comments raised by the public, the board's consultants, other interested agencies, organizations, and officials, including those presented at numerous meetings of the board, as well as those submitted separately and in writing. That was in the resolution of approval. Same paragraph is contained in the negative declaration. I don't have to read it again, but it's basically everything was looked at and considered before they made their decision. Expressly, as part of that, was the section on water resources, including stormwater drainage, that expressly says, and I quote, "The sewer district must be extended to service the site. However, the applicant has offered to construct and install a new off-site sewer pump station and offer the same for dedication to the town. The new larger pump station will allow the town to abandon and eliminate an existing inadequate pump station currently serving the site area, which will be an improvement over existing conditions." That is contained in the resolution. And Helen, just to refresh your recollection, you were on the planning board. You voted aye for both of those resolutions.
I remember.
A short time ago, we contacted the town and said, okay, we would like to try to work something out to get sewer service for Majestic, and the logical possibility was Firthcliffe, which is right next door, and into which sewage that goes in the pump station goes to that plant from outside the Majestic district. And basically, we submitted some requests, and we got a response that basically said, our letter was October 1st. The response was, in regard to your letter of October 1st, 2010, the town board met with your attorney and considered the possibility of an agreement between Majestic and Firthcliffe for diversion of effluent from the former to the latter. Please be advised that the town board is not inclined to pursue any such agreement between the two sewer districts at this time, as it appears there is sewer capacity allocated to the Majestic Sewer District in New Windsor Wastewater Treatment Plant. Now, you have to understand, you can't get there from here. You can't get sewage from the town of Cornwall, this property, to the New Windsor plant anymore. The reason is because the trunk line has been basically abandoned, was plugged by the town of New Windsor many, many years ago, and is not capable of taking a flow of sanitary sewage. So the reasoning that was given in this letter is not supported by the facts. Okay, in response to that, what we did is we sent a letter to all of you. March 30th, 2021 is the date. It was sent to all of you. I hope you all got it. If you didn't get it, I have multiple copies here tonight. I'll be happy to share it again with you. But basically, it's 4 pages of explanation about what is the advantage and the good planning, and good engineering, good public policy for trying to work out something between these 2 districts. Attached to it was a page out of a Corps of Engineers analysis of the Moodna Creek. Just as an aside, the Corps of Engineers wants to remove the dams from the Moodna Creek. One of those dams is on property that's part of the Majestic Sewer District. Another thing they want to remove is the trunk line sewer that when built was under the Moodna, which now is above the Moodna, suspended in air above the Moodna Creek. They want to remove that. There is no question that that is their preferred approach to the Moodna Creek improvement as a fishery. It's attached to the letter. I hope you all had a chance to take a look at it. But basically, it clearly states that the better solution would be to remove that line and eliminate that service completely. So aside from the fact that it's not working very well at all, the Corps of Engineers says get rid of it, which gives us even more of an impetus to try to find a way of doing something. Now, everything costs money. There's nothing today that you can get without having funds available. In your Majestic Sewer District, you have $137,100, $8,640, and then just recently another $180. That money went into the Majestic Sewer District, and unless you did something else with it, which I don't think you could do, it's sitting there in the bank in the Majestic Sewer District. So there's money there to do things that may be necessary to help effectuate. Now, where did the money come from? It didn't fall from the sky. The money came from the sale of sewer capacity rights that Moodna had and Majestic had in the town of New Windsor plant. And the town of Cornwall, and I think originally Mr. Randazzo was supervisor back in your earlier years.
I was younger then, Jerry.
And the town of New Windsor have an agreement that provides that New Windsor can get the capacity back upon payment of certain amounts of money that go to the 2 towns and to the property owner. Okay, we've been living under that agreement for at least 15, 20 years, and there's still capacity remaining that is going to generate more money. Just so you have an idea, the town of Cornwall gets $3 a gallon for every gallon that goes through this system that we're talking about, and there's a capacity there of approximately, don't hold me to the number, but it's in the range of 300,000 more gallons. So you can do the arithmetic yourselves. $3 a gallon, 300,000 gallons, there's $900,000. It's not going to cost $900,000 to fix the Firthcliffe plant so that it could take 7,600 more gallons. Now, I know this is election time is fast approaching, and it's a good time, I guess, to put politicians on the spot because they want to show that they're doing things and that they should be restored to office or kept in office. And I read stuff that I've gotten in the mail. And the supervisor, as a strength, protect the community through strong zoning. And he's done that. And the zoning on this property is for industrial use. It's been used that way almost 2 centuries. And all we want to do is put a new commercial building on the same property that's been an industrial building property for almost 2 centuries. I read Mr. Wojciechowski's literature. He will invest in our community and support small business. Josh will keep our taxes in check. Well, taxes get paid by industrial commercial properties. You fight to keep Cornwall affordable for young people and seniors. You can do that if you have tax revenue that's coming in, that helps go into the public treasury, that can be used to pay for bills, so you don't have to keep raising taxes. So, for the life of me, I have difficulty understanding why you're against this. And the reason I'm here tonight is about 2 weeks ago, our client was led to understand that the board had considered this again and had decided not to entertain this idea. Now, I checked the minutes. I checked the minutes from last fall forward, when we got the first letter that said that the town board is not in favor of this, till the other day when the verbal message was sent that the board is not in favor of this. So that's why I'm here tonight, because it makes no sense. And all that we asked in the last letter is, let's sit down and have a discussion about it, so that if you're laboring under misunderstanding, we have a chance to correct it. If you're short on information, we are there to try to provide it. Some questions you're going to ask your own consultants about. You're going to ask your attorney, is there a legal way to do what this crazy guy is saying should be done here? And I think there are ways that can be done, not necessarily crazy either. You're going to ask your engineer, what's the engineering of this? How does it affect Firthcliffe? How does it affect all the homeowners who now are paying sewer charges to Firthcliffe? Because this is a new source of revenue into the Firthcliffe plant. Because Firthcliffe isn't going to give it away to Majestic. Majestic's going to have to pay. That additional money goes into the coffers of the town of Firthcliffe plant to the benefit of those ratepayers who are now paying the rates to keep the system going. So I appreciate you letting me, probably went over time, and I appreciate it.
It's okay, Jim.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't get paid by the word, but it's so.
Nor do
So
we.
that wasn't the motivation. I just wanted to make sure that I explained it all the best that I can, so that you can take it under advisement and hopefully find a way that we can sit down and find a way to solve this particular issue. The project is before the planning board now. Again, it got sidetracked because of the downturn in the economy and then pandemic and so on. But the project is real, and the 100,000 square foot factory is real. It's not the pie in the sky. It's somebody who knows Cornwall very well and has had success here already. So thank you very much, Mr. Blatt.
Thank you, Jerry.
Okay.
Good to see you
Any
again.
questions, be happy to answer them. But I prefer that we have a sit down and do it that way, so we can move forward with it. Thank
All right.
you.
Thanks very much, Jerry. Anyone else?
Yes,
Go ahead.
yes. I would like to ask Ms. Scott. Ms. Scott, do you know, are you gonna come this Sunday to take a look again? Okay, who else coming with you? Just only you? Okay. Yeah, because I would like to know, because I know I went over, like, you know, what was the point to meeting us, you know, in the ground last?
Well, if you recall, I was going to come on Sunday, and then you said to me.
That's correct, we were
Right,
not
so
available.
that's why I came on Thursday
Correct.
afternoon
Yep,
and met you. Again, I'm looking at the fact that the field has already been skinned through a grant, and what you showed me would require some additional work, and that's something in a work session we have to talk to the board about.
that's for the drainage, so that's,
No,
that's,
you
oh,
were
the
asking
sec,
for
okay,
that
the,
strip, and that's
okay.
something
So,
that, you know, I was definitely open to the, you know, the portable, right,
correct,
the matting you were using, but then as you were showing me this skinning and how you would actually change the shape of the field that we've already skinned and.
it will,
Right, so that's something we as a board, we have to talk about that in our work session.
okay. No, just letting you know, I mean, for information for all of you, it will not change the shape. It will just clean the bad gravel, that's it, and then the grass can come again, and we can put a portable mat, and we can still play as it is.
But I think as a board, in a work session, I think we have to come back and discuss that again, because that's something that the board needs to discuss and it was something that they haven't seen as far as the strip that you're talking about.
Would we be able to have Brian Roth there? Because he's actually, I've been to the field with him 3 times now.
Right.
To have him look at what.
And it-
Josh, Brian is, I've had discussion with Brian.
Okay.
It's going beyond Brian's point, okay? The town board is pretty well versed in what it is. They're looking for additional information.
Okay.
It's gonna be on the agenda next month. On the work session, you're welcome to come.
Okay. No,
Okay.
I'm just saying, like, as per the
And
feedback.
we also talked about priorities in what our buildings and grounds are doing and their responsibilities. And this does sound like something that we really need to talk about. And like, we have to put it on the list, and we already have other projects that are higher on the priority list because we've been working on those for a while.
Okay.
And if we're gonna require some different work, that's gonna require some discussion on the board and how we're going to do it.
Okay. No, because
Right.
I'm just telling you, like, as per the feedback, I have submitted the good presentation. If you have
Yes, I have that
yeah.
one.
And if you have seen over it, there's a link, there's a videos, and I even, like, we have drawings, and there's video as well to
Right.
explain the game, I mean,
Right.
to get understand how the game
Right,
plays.
and I also wanted to meet the Cornwall residents that are using it. I think you said 7 or 8 residents of
Correct.
Cornwall using it. Well, I'd like to meet with them and talk to them
Oh,
as
okay.
well. So
I didn't know that one, like,
Yeah,
you're gonna
well,
make.
because I asked you that question
Okay.
when we
Yes.
were talking.
That is correct. Okay.
All right, anyone else? Carla, did you have a comment? Okay.
Yes, just very quickly, I'm not sure if the tree ordinance, review memo is going to be on the agenda for the next work session.
No.
Okay,
We're gonna take it up when we do the next zoning review, when
Oh,
the board
wonderful,
gets together.
because we're gonna be on vacation.
Yes.
So we wouldn't
Yep.
be there. Okay, thank you.
Okay, all right, Carla. Anyone else? Hearing no one, I'll entertain a motion for the board to go into closed session to seek the advice of council.
So moved.
Moved, second, discussion, roll call.
Ms. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt? Yes. Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Mr. Wojciechowski?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, the motion's carried. Thank you all very much.
Thank
Thank you.
Will we be taking action? Do you require me to stay?
No, I don't think.
Okay.